Hello. So this is something that I wanted to talk about for a long time on my channel. And I never got the time to speak about it, but I'm going to do this and I'm just going to really come out and say it. Justice for Andre Montgomery Jr. must occur. Tim Norman must be found guilty for orchestrating this murder for hire plot. This tragedy, and I hate to use that word, but this tragedy really put a damper on the legacy of not just the Sweetie Pies brand, not just Miss Robbie's legacy, but also the legacy of the OWN network. You see, the OWN network in 2011 was a new network, and it was also a network that was struggling to find its footing. There were these shows like In the Bedroom, and it was another show that was geared to, let's say, a white female demographic, but no one was really watching it. And then you had this young man, well, not this young man, but this woman who was a former backup singer for Tina Turner and Ike Turner, and was part of the Ikettes. And she had a restaurant. Actually two, and a third one on the way. And that show would be known as Welcome to Sweetie Pies. And that is the show that saved the Oprah Winfrey Network. Okay? And then the second season, we're introduced to her grandson, named Andre Montgomery Jr., the son of her oldest son who was murdered. And that crime, till to this day, is unsolved. Andre was a lovable character. Everyone who watched that show, we liked Andre. We loved Andre. And we loved his interaction between his grandmother and his second cousin, Charles. We even loved how Janae loved Andre. But there were people that really were concerned, even in the beginning of the second season. They were concerned with how his uncle, Timothy Norman Jr., was, when he was pretty much approaching Andre in terms of speaking to him, guiding him. They didn't feel it was sincere. Fast forward to 3.5 years later, Andre is gunned down. Everyone is shocked because we're like, he was such a good kid. He graduated from high school. He moved from Texas to St. Louis to do the right thing. And this young man moved back to Texas to probably start a life of his own. And then he gets summoned to move back to St. Louis around the time the insurance policy is taken out on him. Andre never knows about it. Then, when the whole robbery happened with Sweetie Pie's money, he gets the hell away and goes back to Texas. And then he gets called to take a lie detector test. And he doesn't want it. he's like, I don't really want to go here, but I'll do it to clear my name, but I'm moving back. Andre has severed ties with everyone except for Charles. By this time, Janae had moved on and was with another man. And a couple of weeks later, he's gunned down on Natural Bridge Road. The same street as his great uncle and definitely one of his cousins, but it might have been another cousin and they're all male. His father was stabbed to death and he died by a bullet. But the difference between his father and him is that his father, we don't know who did it. But with him, we're certain that Tim Norman set that up. And this is why I say to the jurors on that trial, I don't care if Terica Ellis confessed or not. I don't care if Travell Hill confessed or not. I don't care if Waliel confessed but didn't show his ass up in court. James Timothy Norman Jr., who's really James Timothy Norman III, he's guilty. He's guilty. And he must be convicted. And there's another thing I want to say. Miss Robbie might be 82 years old, but Miss Robbie is still sharp. What Miss Robbie said in those text messages, if they was her, she didn't show any concern or regard for her grandson's safety when he said, Tim is after me. I fear for my life. And those text messages were released in court to be used. If Tim Norman gets off, then you know something is up. Then what that lady, Auntie, was saying, her real name is Shirley, there might be some truth to it. But if he does get convicted, then we know that the justice system did their job. Now, I said Tim Norman would testify, and he did that. And I had a feeling he was going to do it because he's a narcissist. That is someone I wouldn't touch with a 24-foot pole. 24-foot long pole. Not inches. Feet. That is someone that you keep away from all of humanity. And if you don't believe me, you don't have to. Just ask Janae. Because ever since 2018, she don't have him nowhere near her son. I mean, near his father. Excuse me. Janae is scared of them. And I believe Janae dropped a dime. Yes, we thought Janae was cocky. Yes, we thought Janae was sedity, stuck up. But even with all of that, the one thing about Janae, she wasn't treacherous. A month before the information came out about Tim being charged with Andre's murder, there was an Instagram video that was released about Janae not allowing Tim to see little Timmy. And they was talking about it, going up in a storm, Tim and his mother. But they never mentioned Andre. Even though it may not have been related to the conversation, but they never mentioned him. And Miss Robbie, when you mention Andre, he's like a little footnote. it makes you wonder if she really brought him there just for the ratings. You know, that's sad. But still, we want justice for him. But we also want justice for his mother, Michelle Griggs, because she was used as well. That woman suffered a lot. And I believe that woman should sue. Once the verdict comes in and it reads guilty, Michelle Griggs, sue them for all that you can. In the name of your son, Andre Montgomery Jr.'s legacy. I've been following the story since it first broke in August of 2020. And I said I was going to follow it during the trial, and I have. I may not have been on top of it like I should have, because I've been handling a lot of stuff, but I'm on it. I want to see this young man's legacy continue in the afterlife. I believe that one of those streets in Missouri, St. Louis, needs to have his name on it. Because he never ever besmirched the name of St. Louis. He never dirtied it. His uncle did. Many people don't know that he is Art Lassiter's grandson, the guitarist for the Ike and Tina Turner and the Ikettes. That is how his grandfather met Miss Robbie. He was already connected in the industry through bloodline. And he was making music, rapping and producing. For all we know, he could have been a big star on the come up. A handsome young man. You know, he wasn't going to have them big hips and thighs like his uncle. But all of that was taken away out of jealousy, greed, money. And I think just also pure disdain. I believe Tim had a disdain for his nephew. Because if you remember, he never really knew his brother like that. His brother was about 18 years older than him. Yeah, 18 years older than him. Born in 1961. Born in 1961. Yeah, so I just feel that he didn't know Andre Sr. So there was never a love there for Andre Jr. And I know the theory that people said, oh, you know, Tim had it done. That was 1994. I know I gave that theory out too. More than likely, 13 years old. Nah. But do I think he cared? He probably didn't care about his brother being stabbed and had that love because he was more close to his half brother from his father's side, who shares literally the same name, including Junior. So that's the brother that he knew from his father, not Andre Sr. So there was no love. He probably is closer to his nieces and nephews from his father's side more than his mother. So there was never love there. And Andre was the casualty of this whole scheme. And this is why I say justice for Andre Montgomery. And that's how I'm going to leave it at that. And I hope that the jurors got it right. And with that being said, I'm signing off. Thank you for listening. Please not only share this, but hashtag it to let the whole country know, particularly in St. Louis, Missouri, that we rocking with Andre and we rocking with Michelle Griggs, his mother. Take care. And rest in power, Andre Montgomery Jr.